Welcome to today's video. Today I'll be coloring with some fancy markers that I bought for my college classes years ago. I don't know how these alcohol markers haven't dried out yet, but I do enjoy blending pencil with marker, so I decided to have some fun with these. Stupid me, but lucky me. I used Sharpie to ink this, and the markers are alcohol based. So I noticed that the markers were fading the Sharpie a little bit in spots that I went over repeatedly. Luckily it was barely fading, so it's not noticeable, but when I got up close and personal with my work, I noticed that it was doing that, and it worried me, and so I checked over the whole thing and I was like, alright, we're good. We're good, this didn't ruin it. Always swatch your medium before applying it to your work. You need to know what you're working with. I've used markers and crayons and pencils and paint that I thought would look a certain way, and I was completely wrong about them. Some paints were more transparent and it completely messed up my work. Some markers were way lighter or darker than I thought they were going to be. Some markers laid down pigment too quick and bled through the paper, or they would be dried out. Some pencils and occasionally a crayon would be ridiculously hard and not draw, like the tips were made of plastic or something. But then I'd shave them and they'd work fine. But it was still weird. And the most common form of this, I'm sure, is pens not wanting to draw for some reason, not wanting to write. Especially over certain parts of the paper. Why is that? That doesn't make any sense. So always do a test run of your work, your medium. And this whole testing idea is not limited to just drawing media. Glue is tricky too. Scissors could be dull halfway down the blades. Paintbrushes could have bristles poking out or could shed onto your work. Some tapes don't peel well and will tear in a long slanted line, leaving half of your strips still stuck to the roll. Stuff can be weird. If it's not easily fixable, test it out first. That was a bit of a rant, but I've messed up a lot of stuff, so I just wanted to explain why it's important to test things out before using them. When I work on these videos, I usually like silence because I find it peaceful and meditative, but sometimes I like to play some YouTube videos off to the side. It gives me a chance to catch up on stuff I've been missing while I'm working. I love listening to art YouTubers' vlogs and gameplay videos. It gets me in a certain mindset and helps me relax while I'm working on stuff. Kinda like listening to music when you do homework. Which is why I encourage you to listen to these videos, these follow-along craft videos in the background as you draw with me. If you are watching the video, you'll notice the camera will shake occasionally, because my coloring is shaking the table, which is where my camera stand is resting. And in a minute or so, you'll see a little piece of tape at the top. And that is because, if you are curious, I use little tape pieces so I know where the edges of the camera frame are. The end of this video is cut off because my camera died and it doesn't tell me when that happens, so I just kept coloring. So I'll post a photo of the finished illustration at the end. I'm so sorry about that. It's always disappointing, but I'm glad the video at least saves before it dies. That's a relieving thought. This video is sped up 2 times, by the way. It took about 45 minutes to actually color this, and I didn't want to have a 45-minute video. So the footage is just over a half hour, so this video is a little over 15 minutes. It's much more reasonable than 45 minutes. So it looks like I'm coloring fast in the video, but I was actually going very slow, making sure not to color outside of the lines or smudge anything or color the wrong thing the wrong color. I was taking my time and having fun with it. I think that's about all I have to say for now until the end of the video, so enjoy the music and enjoy the coloring process, and I hope your coloring is going well. I'll talk to you again in a minute. So I hope you enjoyed watching this process. I hope yours is coming along very well. You can continue to follow along with these crafts by following my Facebook page. I'm also on Instagram and Twitter, which I don't know how to use, but I post today's video is up kind of posts as a heads up for those followers. I also have a Patreon if you'd like to help support these follow-along crafts, and I have a special offer going on until the 25th. I will hand draw you a caricature to use as your profile photo on your social medias as appreciation for your support and for being one of my first patrons. I hope you have a wonderful day and happy drawing!